I'm delighted to be back in Phuket. I was here 27 years ago when I was a second secretary at the British Embassy, and I visited as a tourist with my wife. It's a beautiful island. It's remarkable how much it's developed, how much investment there has been here, how the tourist trade has really taken off. I was very impressed to hear there were about 3 or 4 million tourists visiting Phuket every year. I don't know how many British people there are, but I know there are 1 million British tourists visiting Thailand, and many of them no doubt come to this wonderful island.
Right, the tourists, there are about 280,000 came last year. It was up 34%, yeah? Second highest among all the foreign nationalities.
Right. Well, Alan Cook, who's the honorary consul here with me, must be kept very busy. In fact, I know he is kept very busy. Well, that's very good news for the island, for the economy, and long may it continue. I'm here. You asked what the purpose of my visit is. I'm here wearing a number of hats. I've just been speaking to a couple of MPs. I'm going to be talking to the governor tomorrow. I'm visiting the prison in a few minutes' time. I'm meeting several groups of British business people here who particularly have invested in the tourist sector, in hotels or restaurants or the marina. And I'm also visiting the British school here this afternoon. So quite a wide range of activities, really spanning the responsibilities that I have as the British ambassador.
Obviously, you mentioned Alan here working as honorary consul. Don't you feel sometimes with the number of visitors and also the number of residents, I don't know, do you know how many in this area, but is it not worth yet still having a full consulate here?
Well, that's something we monitor very, very carefully, to be honest. We don't really have any kind of, quote, full consulates, as you say, anywhere in Thailand. We have a network of honorary consuls. But we certainly watch the workload very carefully. We're very grateful to all our honorary consuls, and I think Alan has done a magnificent job here after the tsunami, and most recently after the air crash in September. And I'm very proud, by the way, the British community rallied around and helped him. I think that was a magnificent effort.
Are there any also negotiations about or dealings about the Burmese victims' aid? Were there any British ships in the area that have?
Yes, we had one. We had one British ship in the area. We've just had the Rangoon conference where we had a British minister present, a cabinet minister, Douglas Alexander, our Secretary of State for International Development. We are actually the biggest donor of aid. But we're very pleased by the way that Thailand has reacted to that. It's acted as the bridge from Don Mueang Airport, sending aid in to Rangoon, and also Utapao. The American aid has gone in that. And the Thais have been very active in pushing for greater access of the aid into Rangoon, and indeed greater access of the aid workers into the country.
Were there any British ships in the Andaman Sea that were prepared to take in aid that couldn't get in?
Yes, we have one that was, or still is, I'm not quite sure, off the coast there. There was the Westminster that was sent there with emergency aid. Unfortunately, it was unable to unload because it didn't get permission from the Burmese.
Like the French yesterday, they brought back their ship here to Phuket, and now transporting it by the UN World Food Programme. Do you think the same might happen to the British?
I don't want to speculate on that. It's not I'm not the ambassador for Burma. What I would say is I think it is a great pity. In fact, it's a tragedy that three weeks after the event, so the flow of aid has been so slow. The international community tried to react immediately by trying to send aid in by ship, by road, by air, and it proved extremely difficult to get the aid and aid experts in the required quantities into the affected area.
Talking about disasters, and I mean worldwide, but even here too, we've had them, as like you say, the tsunami. You've got this new system of locate or registering for citizens overseas. How do you feel this is going to work? Is it going to work well, or people already registered? And this is for visitors as well, not just residents?
Well, I think it's very important. I mean, let's hope another disaster does not happen, but disasters do happen, unfortunately, in the world, be it a tsunami, be it a earthquake, be it an act of terrorism. And it's very difficult to help people if you don't know how many there are and where they are and who they are. I think it's a very good idea. I think we estimate about 40,000 British people in Thailand. We're not sure for certain, actually, but only 10,000 of them, I think, are currently registered with the British Embassy. So, the more that can actually give their details, that gives us the ability to help them should the worst happen.
You have this sort of online locate fco.gov.uk, but it applies to travellers as well, visitors. They want the FCO to everyone to look.
Well, obviously, if a tragedy happens, such as the tsunami, certain victims may be residents, some people may be tourists, some people may be business people. You need to help them all, irrespective of their background, and you can only help them, help locate them and their next of kin and so on if you've got their details. So yes, it's a very good thing.
And also touching about internet and online applications, visas now. You have an online service, but also the agent. You have the visa application centre.
Yeah.
How's that going on the ground? But can people apply online as well for visas now to the UK?
They can download their forms, but they have to go into the agent VFS to give their biometric details and to pay their fees. I think it's working well. It's a more efficient service because it takes people away from the embassy, which is good for security. It's more secure because we're able to match not only the passport, the name, but also the biometric details, which are very difficult to forge. So I think it's a very helpful step forward. One thing I'd like to just say, because a lot of Thais may be surprised by this, we actually want people to come to Britain from Thailand. I often get asked this question: how do I get a visa? I want to go to visit my family, or I want to go for tourism, as if we're trying to stop people. That's not the case. We want people to come to Britain for legitimate reasons, as business people, as tourists spending money, as visitors. What we don't want is people coming illegally, breaking the rules, trying to work illegally, or involved in a sex trade, or whatever it may be. So that's why we have the visa regime there, if you like, and we actually get about 45,000 or so applications per year, of which we issue almost 90%. So it's only a small fraction, 10%, that we're refusing because we don't feel confident that the real reasons are being given.